Six Seven News. I'm your favorite anchor, Alpha. To even at Earth, I around the relevant headline. For the first headline, we got a tension between the United States and Iran have escalated after US officials said Iranian forces fired missiles at commercial vessels near the Strait of Hormuz, raising concern over global shipping and regional stability.
According to the report, two commercial vessels were struck by Iranian missiles, suffering significant damage but causing no casualties. The US is likely to retaliate with strikes against Iranian targets, the report said. Earlier, the UK Maritime Trade Operation Agency said it had received a report from tanker traveling south near the Omani coast that was hit by an unidentified projectile triggering a fire. Iran has made no official claim for the attack, although anonymous sources quoted by the Iranian state television suggest that assault targeted a tanker carrying natural gas from Qatar. Previously, Iran has said any vessel attempting to traverse the Strait of Hormuz must use routes approved by Tehran, adding that interference from the US would be met with a rapid and decisive action. The reported attack came after a one-week agreement between Washington and Tehran to suspend attacks in the strategic waterway expired. A pressing memorandum of understanding signed rested a week ago at the risk of unraveling. A round of indirect talk between the United States and Iran has, in the Qatari capital of Doha, last week ended without significant progress on security in the Strait of Hormuz.
For the second news, we got President Prabowo Subianto welcomed India Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Jakarta today, as Indonesia and India signed a series of strategic agreements to strengthen defense, trade, and maritime cooperation. The two leaders also finalized a defense deal involving the BrahMos supersonic missile system, making a significant step in bilateral relations.
Indonesia and India have signed a deal on the BrahMos cruise missile system, the Indonesia President Perez said on Thursday after a meeting of their two leaders. India Prime Minister Narendra Modi met President Prabowo Subianto as part of his two-day visit to Indonesia, his first trip to the Southeast Asian country since 2023. BrahMos and India-Russia joint venture missile manufacturer and Indonesia Defense Ministry signed a contract for the BrahMos missile defense system, according to announcement in Jakarta, which provide no details. Reuters reported earlier on Tuesday that India will supply the BrahMos cruise missile system and the Astra air-to-air missile to Indonesia, citing an Indian government official. In 2023, BrahMos said it was in advanced discussion with Indonesia on a deal worth between 200 million and 350 million for its missile system. It has already signed deals with the neighbor Vietnam and Philippines. Separately, Indonesia Republic Corp, a defense private holding company, and Indian-based defense company, Bharat Dynamics signed an agreement on air-to-air missile, the Perez announced. The two countries also signed a memorandum of understanding for strengthening supply chains in critical minerals and steel as well as agriculture. Steel Authority of India and Indonesia Krakatau Steel will also establish a joint venture for stainless steel slab making in Indonesia. We're two of the largest democracies in the world, Prabowo said, alongside Modi. Partnerships between us will bring benefit to the region. India and Indonesia will accelerate preferential trade agreement talk, Prabowo said. Modi said the two countries will work on promoting maritime safety and security in the Indian Ocean. Neither leader mentioned the BrahMos deal in their remarks.
For the third news, we got Indonesian National Police have carried out a nationwide leadership reshuffle, appointing 6 new regional police chiefs in a move aimed at strengthening law enforcement and improving public service.
Indonesian National Police Chief General Listio Sigit Prabowo led a high-level transfer of command ceremony for 6 regional police chiefs at the Rupatama building, the NP headquarters on Saturday. The major leadership reshuffle officially instead Inspector General Rudi Setiawan as the new Aceh Police Chief, replacing Inspector General Marzuki Aribasya, and Inspector General Jatiwiyoto Abadi as the West Sumatra Police Chief, replacing the Commissioner General Gatot Trisyanto. Meanwhile, the Inspector General Dr. Pipit Rismanto take over the West Java Police from Commissioner General Dr. Rudi Setiawan, while Inspector General Albert Teddy Benhasianipal assumed commands of the West Kalimantan Police. Rounding out the chains, Inspector General Agus Yuri Jayanto is instead as the North Kalimantan Police Chief, and Brigadier General Yuris Audisoni Talatuheru assumed the top post at the Southwest Papua Police, replacing Brigadier General Gatot Haribowo. ENP Head of Public Relations Division Inspector General Johnny Edison Isir said that the structural updates are crucial for maintaining dynamic institutional adaptation. The leadership rotation is part of the routine organizational restructuring aimed at the career development, leadership regeneration, and enhancing the operational performance across multiple provincial jurisdictions.
For the fourth news, we get a news from Papua. An authority are investigating a deadly shooting in Papua after an American pilot was killed during an attack on a civilian aircraft serving without command, raising fresh security concerns in the region.
An American pilot was shot dead and his plane was set on fire after landing on an airstrip in Indonesia. The incident occurred on Thursday, July 2, in a remote area of Highland, Papua, one of Indonesia's easternmost province on the island of New Guinea, according to the Associated Press. BBC. The pilot has been identified as Nicholas F. Guzmin by the outlets. He was flying an aircraft owner in Aman, according to both AP and CNN. The airline company carries goods and mail to remote areas of the region, according to the company website. Contact was lost with the plane shortly after it ran at the Ibtihik airstrip in Baringama village, according to AP. There were 7 passengers on board, all locals, and all were unharmed for both CNN and AP. According to his LinkedIn profile, Gosling worked for PT AMA and previously worked as a pilot in Alaska. He attended Bridgewater State University in Massachusetts from 2014 to 2018. The West Papua National Liberation Army has taken responsibility for the attack. In a statement obtained by CNN, Sebi Sabbom, as a spokesperson for the TPNB, said the attack was a direct response to the Indonesian and US government, failing to address the root cause of the old conflict in Papua between the Indonesian Army and the West Papua National Liberation Army. He said that the plan has been frequently dropped Indonesian military personnel and violating the TPNBP ultimatum. Sombom also said more attacks will occur should civilian aircraft continue to enter rebel-controlled areas. A military spokesperson in Papua has since confirmed that TPNPP was responsible for the attack by CNN. Indonesian National Police and Directorate General of Civil Aviation did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. The Indonesian Armed Force carried out a 10% operation to recover Gosling body on Friday, July 3, according to CNN and the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. The Indonesian military said Gosling's body would be handed over to the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta. The U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Department of State did not immediately respond to the people's request for comment. The violence is the most recent incident amid long-standing tension between indigenous Papuans and Indonesian security force.
For the fifth news, we get good news from Indonesian cybercrime, where Indonesia has launched a joint task force with Meta to combat the spread of online gaming content and scam-related spam across social media platforms. So we can just banish all of those scamming sites,
Indonesia Communication and Digital Ministry, as we call ComDigi, and a huge technology company called Meta have set up a team dedicated to combat online gambling-related content from spreading primarily through social media comments. And the minister explained that the perpetrators spam social media comments to promote online gaming, a tactic she considered new. Moreover, the minister recorded a 128% surge of online gaming-related comments in the last 2 weeks compared with findings in the January to June 2026 period. Cyber analysis found that the perpetrator deployed organized bot network to flood the comment section of posts made by popular social media accounts with high public reach, such as those owned by government agencies, public figures, and influencers. The ministry is collaborating with Financial Transaction Report and Analysis Center and the Financial Services Authority, or OJK, and the police to resolve the issue, she added. Meanwhile, Meta Director for Publicity Policy in Southeast Asia, Salim Aziz, stressed that online gaming is a cross-border issue which eradication efforts require collective action. Online gaming preparators are developing new tactics to avoid the platform automatic detection system, including by manipulating keywords in the message and comment instead. Hence, the Meta welcome collaboration with the ministry and law enforcement to prevent and stop online gaming activities. We need to increase policy enforcement through artificial intelligence technology, better human moderation, and more effective AI system. Aziz remarked.
Those are today's top story. Rising tensions between the United States and Iran. New strategic agreement between Indonesia and India. A nationwide police intelligence chief is suffered, and Indonesia intensified crackdown on cybercrime and illegal online gaming. Thank you for joining us on 6-7 News. I'm your favorite anchor, Alpha. Good day, stay safe, and we will see you next time.